In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a banging monster in the cabinet effect. It's a really simple prop using a super simple mechanism that you can use to add more dynamic random motion to a lot of different things. The whole thing is based on a rotating cam system. Here I'm using a synchronous motor that I got on Amazon for really cheap. They're also called cup turner motors or sometimes reindeer motors. It's the same type of motor that's inside the little plastic housing that's used for the animated Christmas reindeers. For most of my props, I'm using a 6 RPM synchronized motor. They're not the most powerful, but for something simple like this, it works great. So the first thing you're going to need to do is make a cam. So you can see right here, I've got this little drawing of this white cam. You'll make a circle in the middle for where the motor will be mounted, and then a larger circle, and that will be kind of your open state of your cabinet. That's the furthest open your cabinet will be, and then this blue circle is the most closed that your cabinet will be. So that's what you want to do. You want to mark that, and then you'll actually draw out these lines. And I recommend doing really slow curves and then a drop off, a steep drop off like that. I sometimes even cut it back further because that's what's going to give you that slam effect. Now, if you don't do a steep drop off like that, your cabinet will just slowly open and close as it goes around. So these steep drop offs are what give it that slamming effect. So if you want a different effect, make a different cam. Okay, so once you have your cam designed and cut out, then you'll mount that to your motor with whatever hardware came with your motor. Mount that in there. And the next thing you'll need is this part right here, which goes on the cabinet door. And it's this little, I use two little L brackets like this, and then a bolt. This red line is bolt. I later actually put a straw around that, like a little plastic covering, because the lines in the bolt gave it too much friction for it to work well. Make it as frictionless and as rotating as possible that it can smoothly rotate. I also had to like put a little bit of Loctite and other stuff on there so it didn't spin and then come undone. So just figure out something to make this a smooth bar right there. Then you just mount your cam inside your cabinet. You'll need to make sure that it's far enough in that the door can fully close to this blue line. So that way when it hits this pink line, that'll be when it's most fully open. And you can make this pink line further out or further in depending on how much you want your cabinet to open and close. You'll have to play around with that to find out what your motor can handle and all that fun stuff. So mount it in there, test it out, see how it works. So my cabinets automatically swung closed and slammed, but if yours don't, you can put a rubber band between the two handles or something like even a chain or something to give it some weight so that it slams closed. It just gives it a little bit of extra oomph to close your cabinet if yours don't automatically close. The nice thing about using a cam design like this is that you get that seemingly random movement that your standard repetitive circular predictable motion wouldn't necessarily give you. There's lots of props out there that just have that constant motion that's just so predictable and robotic, whereas this feels a little bit more organic. You can also scale this technique up to heavier props using wiper motors instead of these smaller synchronous motors. I've seen it used for things like lifting a coffin lid or even pushing the back of a baby doll, like you have a baby doll leaned up against a board or something like that and the cam is behind it. You really ought to put this in your bag of tricks as far as adding motion to props. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. Subscribe if you want. Check out my other videos or my digitaldecorstore.com website if you want to find out more about what I'm doing. And thanks for watching.